Hello again. It's me, Harrison Hatch.
And me, Chase Fisher, your ever-helpful pre-cal geniuses.
Let's get started. Today, we will be looking at an example of a sine graph.
Sounds great, Harrison. Let's break out the paper.
Here you go, Chase.
Thanks. Okay, so firstly, let's look at this equation we have right here. Y equals -4 sine, in the parentheses, -2x plus pi over 2 in parentheses. So first, let's find the four main values of the equation. A, B, H, and K, as we have here.
Isn't the A value a -4?
Yes, it sure is. So the A value can be found right there. Right there. So that would be a -4.
And if I remember, the B value is found in front of the X.
Yes, it sure is.
A -2.
-2. And H would be found
Outside the equation. But,
yes.
oh no, sorry, H is on the inside, which is pi over 2.
It would be pi over 4. Because remember, we have to factor that -2 out.
Oh yes, that's right.
-2 times x minus pi over 4. As you can see right there. Okay, so that would be a pi over 4. Because remember, the h value is the opposite of that, because the parent function is x plus h.
Yes.
Okay, now for k, we have none, because
Okay.
that is found outside of the equation, as you already said.
And there appears to be no value outside the equation.
Now, the amplitude can be found with the a value, okay? So that is going to be a 4. And we don't include the negative because that's essentially just half
Always
the height.
positive.
Yes, always positive. Now, the period is found from the b value, okay? So for the period, we're going to do 2 pi over that b value.
Which in this case is a -2. So wouldn't the b value in this problem end up being a -pi?
It wouldn't be a negative pi because the period is always positive, remember?
Oh, yeah, and it cancels, the 2 cancels out. Okay.
Now, the tick marked width can be found by dividing that period by 4. And the reason for that is the period is actually the time it takes for the sine graph to start repeating itself. Okay, so pi divided by 4, pi divided by 4 is equal to pi over 4, simply. So the tick mark width would be pi over 4. Now, because, before we start doing the first tick mark, because the graph is translated pi over 4 to the right, then we would start
The
at
graph.
pi over 4. And then for the next ones, you would simply add pi over 4.
And that would be pi over 2 on the next one.
Is equal to 2 pi over 4, which is equal to pi over 2. Now, 2 pi over 4 plus pi over 4 is equal to 3 pi over 4, and then 3 pi over 4 plus pi over 4 is equal to 4 pi over 4, which is equal to pi. And then lastly, the fifth tick mark would be 4 pi over 4 plus pi over 4, which is equal to 5 pi over 4. Now that we have all those basic tick marks, we're going to go ahead and start graphing. And I think that we should just go ahead and graph one period, and then plus a little extra. So, we're going to start this first tick mark, pi over 4, pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, pi, 5 pi over 4.
Don't forget the amplitude.
Yes, of course. Now, we're going to go and label these first tick marks. Okay, so now that we have all of these labeled, we're going to go ahead and start our graph.
You need to put the amplitude down too, the height.
Yes, of course. So, the amplitude is going to be, as we decided, 4. And then we're going to carry these over so we know where to stop the graph. Okay, so now, because this is a sine graph,
We start at the origin.
exactly, but because it is shifted over, translated, pi over 4 to the right,
We start at pi over 4.
we're going to start right here. So we're going to go up to there, down, over there, and then back to pi over 4. And then that's going to continue on up there. Okay, so this here is your completed sine graph for -4 sine -2x plus pi over 2. Simple as that.
Wow, that's a lot easier than I thought. Is that it?
That's it.
Wow, we're geniuses.
Unit circle, are you proud of us?
Yes, well done, my subjects.
Hey, nice job.